Uchuva is a fruit that always seems to arrive wrapped like a secret. The thin, parchment-like husk cups the berry as if nature invented packaging long before humans imagined plastic sleeves or paper cartons. Inside, a perfectly rounded sphere glows golden, somewhere between amber and sunlight. Its surface is smooth, taut, almost glassy, as if the berry is storing a small pocket of warmth. People encounter it in markets, still closed in its lantern shell, and instinctively peel it open, because discovery seems built into the fruit. Its names move like migration patterns: Uchuva, Aguimanto, Goldenberry, Peruvian cherry, physalis, Cape gooseberry. Names multiply when something travels, and Uchuva traveled far before anyone recorded it. It began high in the Andes, where thick mountain air keeps valleys quiet and ancient terraces hold more memory than soil. Farmers grew Uchuva long before refrigeration, transport, and international grocery shelves. It ripened under fractured sunlight and was carried in baskets woven from fibers soaked in river water. The fruit didn't need a sticker to signal identity, it was identified by presence. Its sweetness is never simple. When teeth pierce the skin, the first sensation is bright acidity, clean, sharp, vivid. Then sweetness unfolds behind it, calm and slow. It tastes like citrus if citrus had tenderness, like tropical fruit if tropical fruit had discipline. Inside are small seeds that snap slightly between the teeth, not intrusive, but structural. The aftertaste leaves something grassy, a trace of the plant's origin. Indigenous communities used Uchuva not merely to satisfy hunger but to strengthen the body. Decoctions of the leaves were made to calm fever. The berries were eaten for vitality, digestion, sight. For centuries, knowledge existed without documentation. Someone passed it down by demonstrating rather than describing. Culture does not need publishing when continuity exists through presence. Nutritionally, Uchuva is a small sphere filled with precision. Vitamin C comes forward boldly, in quantities carried through the flesh rather than borrowed from external fortification. Antioxidants line the fruit's structure. Acidic balance allows it to resist decay longer than many berries. There is iron, beta-carotene, and natural compounds studied for their anti-inflammatory effects. Modern science arrives late, often rediscovering what villagers already knew. Papers turn heritage into data. Heritage was working centuries earlier. Economically, Uchuva became a paradox. It is too delicate to store long without refrigeration, yet resilient enough to travel when sealed in its husk. The husk regulates humidity. It is insulation, container, armor. When global agricultural systems saw its potential, they did not invent protective wrapping. The fruit already had it. It stands as evidence that biological intelligence often predates technological innovation. Uchuva entered export routes quietly. Not like bananas, with industrial scale, not like strawberries, which require refrigeration chains and labor-heavy harvesting. Uchuva moved smaller, niche-sized, glass-case displayed, gourmet-priced. Restaurants began placing it atop desserts like punctuation, round, bright, intentional. It became a jewel of plating, tartness that cuts through sweetness, brightness that lifts density. But in the regions that nurtured it earliest, Uchuva is not garnish. It is ingredient, vitamin, childhood snack, agricultural identity. It appears in jams, dense, golden, spreadable. It becomes infusion, syrup, juice. Some communities dry it, letting sweetness concentrate. When dried, it becomes deeper, richer, almost metallic in sweetness, like caramel pressed into fruit. Its cultivation lowers itself into foothills, not sprawling into industrial monoculture. Plants grow like small shrubs, producing lanterns that droop slightly when ripe. Farmers understand the timetable without calendar. Touch tells them when the husk loosens, when the fruit detaches. Harvest becomes choreography between ripeness and anticipation. Anyone working with Uchuva learns patience. There is something about the fruit that feels like a memory of early agriculture. The world once lived without separation between food and land. Uchuva reminds that such separations were recent. A husk opening in the hand resembles unwrapping something ancient, like lifting the page of a manuscript no longer copied, but still remembered. When travelers first encountered it beyond the Andes, fascination rose not because of flavor alone, but because it looked self-contained. Like something designed rather than grown. The world likes fruits that perform spectacle, and here was a spectacle small enough to hold between fingers. But Uchuva resists simplification. It does not exist to decorate cakes, though modern cuisine put it there. It does not exist solely to provide antioxidants, though chemical profiles say it does. It exists because ecological cycles built it: plants, insects, soil acidity, altitude, sunlight angle, tradition. If any of these vanished, the fruit would be diminished, not extinct, but altered. The Andean mountains, place of its earliest cultivation, are landscapes shaped by resilience. Thin air, steep inclines, short growing cycles. Yet Uchuva found viability there because endurance is encoded in its structure. Fruit with endurance in its biological memory is fruit that survives. When eaten fresh, the sweetness blooms at the center of acidity. When dehydrated, sweetness becomes structural. When cooked, acidity breaks down into fragrance. No transformation erases its identity, it adapts. The world now photographs Uchuva. Markets elevate it as exotic. Nutritionists classify it. Export companies label it. But beneath concepts remains the same simple truth. A berry wrapped quietly in its own lantern, waiting to be opened. There is tenderness in that waiting, and something beautifully old.